Here's another question I received. The individual wanted to know if I had any ideas on how they could build a fence on top of a sewer pipe. And I actually have this situation at my house. It's not a sewer pipe, but it's a street drainage pipe. The street above, let's say in the backyard of my house, actually drains down to our street and then drains down to the next street. And it runs right down the center of the property line. So good job with that one. Could have moved it over a little bit. But you could actually do something like this. Go a couple of panels, maybe 16 feet, come in, whatever the desired distance is. If it's a sewer pipe, you might only have to go a foot, something like that. Might have to go 2 foot or 3 feet if it's a city drainage pipe. And again, I'm just going to try and provide you with a few ideas here. This is what I would be looking at it from above. The pipe would go down here, and hopefully the footings would not be next to it or on top of it. And when I say next to it, I would imagine you got to keep these footings at least 4 inches away from the pipes, and try to keep them to where the footings are going down. And there are certain rules of thumb that you need to follow for pouring footings. If you get into those, I really don't want to get into that. This is a fence. This is not a structural home, a room addition, a building foundation, kind of like that. It's a fence, not going to be a lot of weight. So you probably could actually pour the concrete within an inch of the pipe and be okay. Here's what I have at on my property. The fence jogs a couple of panels and then jogs over and then goes all the way down on the neighbor's side. And it's kind of hard to tell who got the better end of the deal there. But that's how the fence was built. I would be thinking that you could actually go a couple of panels, just like with the 90-degree angle. You could go a 45-degree angle if you wanted, go a couple of more panels, and then go back 45 degrees and then work your way down. So you'd actually have two panels, 45 degrees coming in this way, two panels, and then go 45 degrees that way, go another two panels, and then come back in and stagger your way down the property. And again, this is just another idea. You might want a 45 one panel and then 90 degree another angle. I don't know. That will be up to you. If you do want to build the fence over the pipe, then you could always use some type of a bracket system like this. And if you do use a bracket system like this, wouldn't be a bad idea to alternate your footings, put them on either side of the pipe if you are going to do something like this. This will have a footing on the right side. This one will have a footing on the left side. And they will bolt, everything will bolt together and then bolt to the wood post. And of course, you could always use a metal post here, bolt the angle iron to the metal post, or somehow come up with a design to where you bolt the angle iron to a round fence post if that's what you are going to use. Again, these are suggestions that you might need to use a few of them to come up with the best design you're looking for. This is kind of an idea of what the footing could look like. Again, alternating. You can see one on one side, one on the other side. The bracket, the post, or the angle iron coming up out of the concrete. Now this actually, I have the fence post going into the concrete. If you want, you can stop your fence post above the concrete, but I think if we go down into the concrete, it's going to give us a little more stability. If this ever rots and you do need to replace the fence post, then you could simply chisel out this stuff, get a vacuum cleaner, pull all of the wood out of it, and then reset the post in there. If it does rot and you see it rotting and it looks like a problem, you could always cut it after that. Cut it after the fact, maybe a 1/4 inch above the concrete. And if the fence is still sturdy through the metal support system and the concrete foundation, then you're fine. But again, I would go ahead and put the post into the concrete. I think it's going to provide you with a little more stability. I mean, if you're only talking 3 or 4 inches, why bother? Pull the post up. But if you can get at least 6 inches into the concrete footing, then that's probably going to help a lot. So, and again, alter the footings back and forth. Close up there. And then gives you an idea of how this is going out here. Let's go back to this close up again. You could actually pour the concrete up above the soil, have it around the wood post like you would a regular wood post that would be going into the ground. But again, I don't want to raise this concrete up. That'd be too much sticking out. So you could always just make a smaller section. If you have a 4x4 post, maybe something that's 6x6, bring it up above the ground, and that's probably going to provide you with a pretty good foundation. In the last section of the video here, I just kind of want to throw out a few different bracket design ideas. This is the original bracket that we had in the video. This one here might work, especially if you're dealing with a smaller fence. If you have a 3-foot fence, this might work. And of course, you would need a welder. You'd weld something like this to create a nice, strong bracket. You could always use a design like this, weld it together, and then weld a couple of flat pieces of metal on the side to make it even stronger. The footing would look something like this, concrete footing, flat. You could always go down and then go around the pipe with a bigger footing, use some rebar, bend the rebar to go in there, and create a stronger footing and a stronger support system. You could always change the angle of the bracket. Any brackets in here, if you don't have the room, you might have this bracket going straight up. This bracket here might be at an angle. You could run this at maybe a 20-degree angle, and then of course change the angles of anything to make the bracket work. I'm going directly over the post. If you're to move this to either side, you're going to have more options available. You could always add another leg coming down, and again, this is going to provide you with more support. Anytime you have brackets like this, if I have this connecting to this, not going to be very strong. Once I add this section here, it's going to be a lot stronger. And then when I bring this over to here, I've really got a nice system here, really going in for some strength there. So, and again, you can always put a leg on the other side also with a bracket. This might be exactly what you're looking for. It just depends upon how much strength you need. So anyway, I hope that this provides you with a few ideas. Get a little creative. If you want, feel free to send me some pictures of what you have. I can put them on the website and create a website page and make other people aware of your design, especially if it is better than my designs.